Welcome back to Business Tonight. I've still got Wayne McCurry from RMB Asset Management and Viv Govender from Vunani Private Clients with me in studio. Joining us now is Douglas Reid, Chief Executive of Vox Telecom, to discuss the company's latest financial performance following the 7% decline in headline earnings per share to 2.14 cents. Gentlemen, thanks once again for joining us tonight. Douglas, great to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Let's start off with you. Looking at the results that we saw, your company and your press release, you're talking about your strategy is very much on track. Tell us how the strategy is now changing with the times.
We're evolving from a collection of service providers to a fully fledged telco. And that's been an ongoing process for the last 2 or 3 years. It's been escalated a bit and because of government regulation, changes in interconnect, etc. And we have a couple of major businesses that are sort of reaching end of life, like, for example, the least cost routing, dial-ups, etc. So we're converting those onto our platform, so our own telco products. And it's basically going as we expected. We virtually bang on our budgets, etc., for the 6 months.
At the end of the day, we're still seeing a deflationary environment which is coming through for a lot of your products as well. Do you expect this to change down the line?
No, this is going to continue. I mean, it's massive deflation. In the voice, it's 25–30% per annum. And in the data, it's some months, some years, it's even higher. Last year, it was like 40%.
Wayne, let's get a sense from you, Vox Telecom.
So look, it is a company that, obviously is bit of a history going back a couple of years, not specifically related to the company. Relatively small company, but it was interesting, reading the results and looking at the, how low-cost routing has actually dropped down as a major part of the business. And it shows you that, in the industry, you've really got to be on top of things because your environment is changing all the time.
Absolutely. A lot of competition that has also come to the fore. We hear about deflation in the voice and the data space, but we know that data should be one of those revenue earners down the line as well.
But the problem with that is that it's a commodity, effectively. It's not something you can do much in terms of value add, except put maybe a few things into reliability, etc. But it's very difficult. I don't know if you can discuss this, but in terms of adding something that differentiates you from your competition, how do you stop being a commodity when you come in and provide these kind of services?
The main driver, the bandwidth, obviously, the basic bandwidth is a commodity, and so the voice minutes. But there are a lot of value adds around that. For example, a lot of services are coming. Some that we don't even know of still to come down. So we're on a big drive. I mean, our average consumer ARPU, for example, is around about the 160 Rand mark, and it should be around about 500. So that's a lot of room for growth in that area. And the same with the consumers. It's more and more products that we put down the corporate side of the business. The more products we put down, for example, cloud computing, there's a massive drive now. So most mail servers, etc., are getting put off-site and becoming cloud computing. So
tell us a little bit more about the cloud computing, because it is one of those buzz phrases that we've been hearing for quite some time. Tell us about the appetite for cloud computing and the headway that you've made. It's also very competitive.
It's becoming mainstream, and some of the old traditional products that used to be on customers' own networks are now being moved to cloud computing. And on the consumer, it's the same trend. So it's pretty similar across the whole vertical segment of the market.
Okay, Wayne, cloud computing, does that mean anything to you?
I mean, I'm a Luddite, so obviously it's computing going off-site and off your desk where it goes to, but, I think it's very, very difficult, and I'm sure Douglas will concur with me, it's very difficult to stay up to date with what's happening in voice and IT and telecommunications. But eventually, prices can't fall forever. I mean, they just can't. So eventually there has to be some sort of consolidation in that price. And I suppose if you're one of the top people in the market, in this space, and you read the trends correctly, you can actually do quite well out of it. Because, I mean, we're not going to use less data, we're going to use significantly more data.
Which is quite fascinating. We're just looking at some of the divisions within the Vox Telecom. We've got Vox Telepreneur's EBITDA decreasing by 26% to a loss of 2.3 million Rand. You say that you're going to be focusing more on the growth in customers and also the usage by each customer as well. Tell us about that shift that is going to occur within this space.
On the consumer stuff, we're basically upselling more and giving more products and dropping prices of the core products like ADSL, etc. I mean, it's almost getting down to free in some cases. And the corporate side, very similar. We're providing a service. It's not possible for a corporate today to have 8 different telco accounts with Vodacom, MTN, Telkom, etc. So Vox Telecom have always provided a strong service in that area of the market. So our corporate side of it is strong, and I think there's no reason why we won't continue to be strong in that area.
Another Achilles heel, perhaps, Atlantic's EBITDA also decreasing quite significantly, down 40%. Tell us about what you're going to be doing within this space to become more competitive.
On the Atlantic side, the majority of the drop is because of the dial-ups. The dial-ups became extremely profitable. We used to get rebates from Telkom in terms of the dial-up market. All of that's disappeared. So for example, I think our rebates at Atlantic were 2 million rand a month at one stage, and it's become 0. So there's a lot of stuff to cope with. But as I said, other services, bigger ARPUs, voice is another product we're selling to consumers. So a lot of different services we can put down that market.
One thing that did mitigate some of the losses within your business, we know that Vox Amvia's EBITDA increasing quite dramatically. That was up, surged 113%. Can you maintain this?
No, we should. Ambia is an extremely good company of ours. And it's in faxing. I mean, everyone thinks faxing is dead. So it gives you an idea. The telco market's
faxing is dead, really?
Yeah. No, it's not at all. People think.
And Vox Orion's as well, that's EBITDA increasing significantly. Operational efficiencies, you're talking about contract minutes as well, which contributes to the positivity of the company.
The data side has always grown. DataPro itself, the original company, has always grown every single year. Very strong sales organisation. Orion, it's a case of converting their current business model to the new business model. So that's the main focus, and obviously getting extra business, mainly from the same customer base, rather than looking for greenfields growth.
With regards to, talking about greenfields growth, what about acquisitions down the line? Anything in path for you?
Not at the moment. We might make the odd strategic acquisition from a technical point of view. Companies like Vox Ambia was one of the case in point, but nothing major on the horizon.
With regards to challenges and concerns down the line into 2011, obviously those who are buying into the Vox Telecom story would like to see a turnaround in earnings. Are you expecting a significant turnaround? Not for the next year. I think we'll be pretty flat for the next year. And thereafter, I think we'll be rated as a telco as opposed to not sure what to rate us. Exactly. Exciting times, it seems. Douglas, thank you so very much for joining us today. Much appreciated. Douglas Reid, Chief Executive of Vox Telecoms. Gentlemen, if we could just continue with